this is a short segment on actualized leadership, meeting your shadow and maximizing your potential. Now, per the face-to-face video that I had created for you, this is some work done by my colleague, Dr. Will Sparks. He has written a book about this and studied this idea of your shadow for many years. He has essentially drawn on the work of Carl Jung and others in identifying what our primary needs are and what that can mean for us in terms of how we operate under duress or stress and come out looking negatively to other people. So they're potential derailers. I love this work for a number of different reasons, one of which is that it's just important for us to be able to balance our strengths and our weaknesses, but there's not very much attention paid on the latter in the media. Now, definition of actualized leadership is a more fully integrated individual who elicits the willing cooperation of others and consistently engages in the three sequences of self-actualization: confidence, performance, and renewal. I put this in here for two reasons, one of which is, as I signaled, the degree to which you see your shadow will be contingent upon how actualized you are. So even though I do have a shadow and I do see it come out, I'm fairly self-actualized. So usually I can see it coming. And to be honest, it happens to me more in my personal relationships than it does at work in terms of how it would ever come out, because I manage it probably more closely at work than I do outside of work. So keep that in mind. Your goal is to be more actualized over time, and that can help you be aware of and manage your shadow. I also just wanted to bring this to your attention because you might want to buy Dr. Will Sparks' book, which is out now and available via Amazon if you really want to delve into this more seriously. Now, the self-actualization, if you're looking at the top of the pyramid, this is dear Abraham Maslow's work. And the essence of this is that we as human beings are striving to have all of our needs met, lower to higher, to the point where if our highest needs are met, we can become self-actualized and live to our fullest potential. So Dr. Sparks, Will's work, is really about actualizing and therefore but living to our highest potential and managing the darker sides of ourselves. So this quiz that you took would tell you what your primary motivation is and a corresponding shadow. So achievers, affiliators, and power. And as an example, I am an affiliator. So if your achievement, this is, and one reason to know the other types is because we can see these people around you and sort of predict their behavior and how they may negatively look under duress. They are task driven. So these are people who are really focused on the getting things done, on winning. They're driven to be competent and controlled and in focus, and they get deep technical expertise. They prefer planning. They require concrete performance feedback and can be averse to risk. Now, but this is the classic achiever type. Now, the natural strengths are on the left. They're organized, detail-oriented, structured, thorough, and analytical. Now, the interesting piece is this whole idea of under stress. So you can see if you scored as an achiever and you were really stressed what you might do because you would worry that you would fail otherwise or somebody would fail and make you look bad. So you could end up looking like a classic micromanager, a perfectionist, overly critical of people, cautious and narrow-minded. And again, this is not going to show up all the time because you have your strengths to balance that and because we don't walk around under stress all the time. Affiliation. These are your people folks. So they have strong interpersonal skills and concern for others. They tend to be very good listeners, loyal team members, and they can be helpful but overly accommodating because they're trying to make sure that the people around them are okay, and sometimes that sacrifices their own needs in the process. Now, you can see their natural strengths on the left and under duress. So notably, the moniker or the tagline for the affiliator is "We'll do it your way." So it really tends to be about the other person. So when an affiliator is under stress, they can avoid conflict and confrontation, be indecisive, sensitive, emotional, and devalue their own needs and wants to make sure that the other person's okay. But on the natural strength side, you can see that there's a lot of value in what being helpful and altruistic and friendly can bring in the workplace. Now, if you are all about, or if your fundamental need is power, and by the way, These two, I didn't have them in here. Achievement, folks are afraid of failure. There's something or things in the past where a defining moment, some event that led them to feel like they needed to hone these natural strengths, and they are very afraid of failure. So under duress, they will do things to not fail. With the affiliators, they, in their earlier lives, have felt rejected, and therefore they're doing everything that they can not to be rejected. And under stress, they start to feel rejected, and that's why they act the way they do. Now, people who have a sense of power, according to the psychology, have been betrayed in earlier life, and so they are very aimed at being in control and not having any sense of betrayal by others. So they tend to be very confident, results-oriented people, rational and objective. They are a risk taker, candid and direct with a bias for action. They can be a bit slow to trust others because of that fear of betrayal. Now here tend to be these natural strengths, and you can see on the left lots of things that you would see in what we think of as leadership now, the strategic and courageous and decisive. And on the upper right, it reads, "You'll do it my way." So it's really about having that power and exerting it. Under stress, they can become too controlling, arrogant, impatient, condescending, and manipulative. And so the idea in Will's work is he says, listen, we are walking contradictions. And what ideally is going to happen is that we are going to leverage our strengths and mitigate our weaknesses. So he says at the top, an actualized achiever would be detailed yet conceptual, organized yet flexible. An actualized affirmer would be friendly yet courageous, empathetic yet candid. And an actualized asserter would be confident but humble and competitive yet caring. And once again, I'd say to my mind, because I'm certified in this, his work, I was so interested, I got certified in it, is to really, number one, figure out what your triggers are. Think a bit for yourself around what in life has led you to develop any one of those needs. And it's not that we can't have all three of those needs, just one may dominate. And then realize, be more aware. When you get stressed out and this negative side of you comes out, be more aware of it and realize where it's coming from, and realize that ideally in a work setting and in your personal life, you've got to learn how to manage that effectively. You won't all the time, but you'll do your best. Now, here's one thing that he says in terms of moving forward and actualizing is to see life as a series of choices, make the courageous choice, lean into discomfort. So for achievers, the goal is to let go of perfection. For affirmers, it's let go of seeking approval, and asserters let go of wanting control. Here are a few of the things that he says in the way of actualizing. Once again, it's in his book. There's much more detail in his book, and I really liked his book, which I read in its entirety. And it also has examples of business leaders who are demonstrating self-actualizing characteristics as a way to bring this to life. So one, he says, spend more time in nature with animals or helping others. Care a little less about what people think of you, and notice and cherish the little things. So those are three things that can help you move to actualize and manage your shadow more effectively.